Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem HaKodash. Say double honors to our apostles and elders. Here, great millstone, peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So I watched this video earlier. I'm gonna let some of it play, and it's regarding. Title of the video is Americans are giving up from insane mortgage payments right now, and they bring some news to the table, which is that really there's no real strategy in the land of Babylon the Great today. There's no real strategy that you can go about to try to ensure that if you do get a place to stay at, that you can ensure that your amount that you pay each month or each year remains the same, because of the corrupt system that we live in is making it much harder for people to live and to survive, right? Even if you have a fixed interest rate or a fixed mortgage rate or whatever, it can still change. So this is bringing a lot of anxiety out in a lot of our people. And what I wanted to answer is, if anybody was to ask us, the Israelites, the question as far as how to deal with this, well, the scriptures has the answers for everything, and it really stems from what Yahweh Shai told us, like in Matthew 6, it's even captioned the cure for anxiety. And this is why the scriptures basically tell you, because our answer to you is going to be, look, the scriptures tell us that everything in this life is temporal and is temporary. And I'll read a few to show that.
People are going to lose their homes. They're going to lose their homes. I'm telling you guys, the storm is brewing and it's coming fast. Insurance premiums and property taxes are skyrocketing through the roof. And the result is that people's mortgage payments are getting higher and higher to the point that it's going to be unaffordable for most people. If you don't already know, your property insurance and your property taxes are rolled into your mortgage payment for as long as you have a mortgage. If you don't have a mortgage, you have to pay those property taxes and insurance separately outside of the mortgage. Part of your mortgage payment, when that statement comes in the mail, there's a line there that says escrow. And escrow is money that's set aside from your payments that is then used by the bank to pay your insurance and your property taxes. Your actual mortgage payment may not go up even if you have a low interest rate. Interest and principal will stay the same, but the amount you have to pay every month is going to skyrocket because the banks have to make sure you pay that. Your mortgage payment is going to go up because they've got to pay property taxes and insurance. This has always been the case, but the difference this time is that the rate of acceleration on property taxes and insurance is unlike anything anybody has ever seen. People's monthly payments are going up from $1,800 to $2,800, from $2,500 to $3,500. One of two things can happen. You either lose your home to foreclosure because you can't afford that payment, or you try to sell your home so that you can get out of this terrible situation. And the more people that start to now try to sell their homes, the more inventory increases, the more those prices are likely to come down.
That's true. We're seeing this in Florida.
Very state to state, so it's not exactly the same in every state. Some states are in worse situations than others. They weren't kidding. Those fuckers weren't kidding. They said you'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
So sad to hear that. There's a hidden time bomb hidden in your fixed mortgage payment. Yes, even if your mortgage payment is fixed. And when it goes off, you won't just lose money. You could lose your home. Most people won't.
Right. Because the society, when they started the Federal Reserve, this was the point. They started the Federal Reserve and they eliminated gold and silver from being used. They did that strategically. So now you got no choice but to use the Federal Reserve. And with that, they include what they call interest. And interest leads to inflation, which leads to where you are at today, which is why prices will never go down. And two, things will never cost the same as it was back then because of interest. It goes back to really breaking the law of the scriptures, and as well as the international bankers that want you to be in perpetual servitude forever. That's what the system is about. That's why you have personal property taxes. That's why in the land of Babylon you could truly never own anything. And it's understood because you have to keep paying each and every year because you can never own it. And they design it that way intentionally for the intent that you are a perpetual slave. That's the society. See? And with all this is going on, This is why when the Lord counseled us on how to move and operate in these times, it's like salvation. Because like I said, otherwise, a lot of people are, you could say, plagued in a sense of anxiety, and they're actually, they're watching these videos that come to the internet. Everybody, like even that guy there trying to explain, everybody's trying to look for a solution or answer, but Esau Edom made it to where there is no other answer. So everybody's just trying to look for a way to be strategic on how to operate in this life and what's the best way, because deep down everybody is seeking rest. Our people are seeking some type of rest, right? And that's why the scriptures tell you that this truth that we have, this is our rest until we get into the physical rest. So if you was to ask us what's the smart thing to do, well, first and foremost, you got to adapt the mindset of understanding that all of this is all temporal, right? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16. It says, "For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we look not on the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." And one example of things that you can see is a home. Okay, these homes that we have here, okay, is all temporal. One, you can never own it anyway. And two, even like that's news, right? Even if you have a fixed rate or a fixed interest, that can still cause your price to increase, because you got rate interest and then you got your personal property tax and all that other stuff. So if that goes up, then that's still gonna increase the cost of how much you're paying anyway, though you have a fixed rate. So all of it's temporal. You can never own anything. Prices is just gonna keep going up. The cost of living is gonna keep going up as the society collapses, as the economy collapses, and our people are looking for a rest. Well, this is why we look at all of this as temporal. This is just a temporal abiding. That's it. And the more you try to find a way to find a place to have rest and try to secure your home here, secure your area there, right? Do this for your family because you're thinking about the future, and you want to find a place that you can call home. You want to call it home. You don't want to have to worry about not having a roof over your head next year. You don't have to sell, then you got to go. So everybody's thinking about just going back to renting, but then they kind of coming up with plans like, okay, they gonna rent the rest of their life, or they gonna do this. See, all this stuff leads to anxiety. Whereas if you just come back to the truth of the scriptures, okay, then you'll realize that everything that's happening in society that is by the will of the Lord. He's bringing this place down, and He doesn't want us to look at this place as home anyway. He wants us to look at this as just as a punishment served, a jail sentence being served that we're at the end of, and this is all just temporary abiding. Even our forefathers, like Jacob, even Isaac and Abraham, but we take Jacob for example, Genesis 47, when he went down to meet Pharaoh for his son Joseph, Genesis 47:7, "And Joseph brought in Jacob his father and set him before Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, How old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers, in the days of their pilgrimage." So as the scripture tell you, even our forefathers call themselves pilgrims on the earth. And they were blessed of the Lord. But they understood that the place of the Lord is not on the earth. So even he considered himself a pilgrimage. All the days of our years were as the days of pilgrimage on the earth, meaning we're travelers. Okay, everything's a temporary abiding. And he said, well, the days of my life have been few and evil, even as it is to our day as well. So we don't have a place to call home. You at this rate, you're just being strategic. You're just going with what you can, and you figure out what the best you can. And if you look at it that way, then you won't have that anxiety demon that's on you, because you already understand that, and you can counsel your family as, look, we can't stress out over this because this isn't permanent anyway. This is all temporal. The Lord is to come and to establish a better kingdom, and we just have to, let's just make it work. Whatever works the best we can until the Lord comes. Because everybody, everybody has a channel like that talking about what's going on in the world. Everybody's trying to be strategic, and I'm listening to them. But you see, no one has a real answer because the fact of the matter is the economy is going down. You can never own anything in this society. There is no one fixed solution. Everybody's trying to make a quick buck or extra dollar, right? But nobody's considering the scriptures. Nobody's considering that this is prophetic. And if you are considering, well, like that brother there who did the videos, YT, Wake 'em Up, that's the name of the channel, he considers it all prophetic. But, so everybody's just having the attitude of, well, we just got to try to squeeze along while we can, y'all, because stuff's hitting the fan. That is true. And that is why if you was to ask us, well, what do you think we should do? We're going to tell you the exact same message, which is right here in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 29. But I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world not as abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So use the world, don't abuse it. Scripture says, sow as if you will not. You sow your seed, but you may not reap. Build a house, but you may not dwell therein. He that selleth merchandise as if he that selleth, you won't get another return. He that buyeth as if he will not reap any benefit from it. They that marry as if they will not have children, and they that are not married remain as as widows, meaning they won't marry again. That's the mentality he wants us to have, and as you can see, you see why. Because the society is corrupt. There's nothing secure. Okay, everything in this world right now is temporal. So you should look at everything you're temporal. Your houses are temporal. These people crying on the internet because they're like, we got to sell our home. We've been here for so many years, and now we got to sell it. And that's because they put their all into their home. They got the home, and they said this is going to be their future. This is where they're going to see their grandkids grow up and all that. But because of judgment of the Lord, whether it be a tornado like that just came through here in St. Louis, and it hit primarily those rich areas, Clayton. If you can see it, it's those big houses, okay, like 2-3 stories high. Judgment from the Lord. But there are also some of the poor that got hit with that too. These people look at their houses as if that's their future. They see all these, they see their future. They put all this money into it and all that. But because of the change and the prices increase, they can't afford. Now they got to either downsize or go back to renting, and they're just stressed out and they're angry. They're crying because they're like, I won't rest. But that's the thing. This is not our rest. This is Hebrews 13, verse 12. Wherefore Yahushua also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate. Let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. We have no continuing city. We have no, this isn't it. And the Lord has told us. So again, you got Jacob saying that, which Abraham said it, Isaac said it, you even have Paul saying it. We're saying the same thing. Because ever since we fell, when you read the book of Kings, we've been in captivity ever since, under the rules of these other nations. And ever since, we've been just traveling. Been like pilgrims. And we still are to this day until the Lord comes to redeem us. As he says in Deuteronomy 28, verse 64, as the curses, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth unto the other, and there shall serve other gods, neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood or stone. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow of mind. So ever since we've been under the captivity of the nations, our foot have no rest. And our people are losing their minds because they're trying to make this place home. But there's always some new plague or new change that causes them to really have to pick up their things and keep moving, and is giving them anxiety because they want a place to rest. Well, the Lord said that this isn't the rest. The only rest we have now is in these scriptures. So Jeremiah 6:16 says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths where is the good way, and walk therein," which is the truth, okay? "And ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein." So coming back to this truth is the ultimate rest, because we don't have this anxiety as the people in the world do, because we understand that it's just all temporal. Your relationships that don't work out are temporal. You don't get along with family member up. The Lord said it was going to happen. It is what it is. You can't stress over it. Temporal. That's why the Lord said you keep your eyes on the prize, and He said, where your heart is, there will your treasure be also. So long as your heart and your mind is in the heavens, right, you're gonna have that mentality to know like this is just all temporary. But if you have your heart set on this place, then your mindset is down here. Your heart is down here. It's with the world. So when the world collapses, you mentally gonna collapse too, because you leveled yourself to make this your rest, which is not. You should always be seeking the spiritual kingdom. The spiritual world and the new kingdom and the spiritual. And this is why we say any Israelite to try to push a community spirit is opposite. It's the opposite, because your mindset is on here, on the ground, when it should be in the heavens. Because as you can see, this place is about to fall. This is a sinking ship, and it won't benefit you at all to try to seek at this place and try to call it home. So just look at everything as temporal, man, and just come back to the scriptures, come back to the truth, and this is really your salvation. With that, shalom.